Hi there, I'm your English coach Christina, and welcome to Speak English with Christina, where you'll learn about American culture and business know-how to become confident in English. One situation which requires a lot of confidence in any language is dealing with rude or aggressive coworkers. And if you're learning American English, these uncomfortable situations can be even more challenging. You may not know what to say to keep the confrontation professional and calm. A rude or aggressive coworker can be very difficult to manage, so you need tactics to deal with these people. Your coworker may lose their cool, as we say, lose their self-control, but you don't have to, and you'll look more professional for it. So today, you'll get some techniques on how to deal with the rude or aggressive people at work so that you can better manage these situations in English and stay calm and confident. Let's go. Obviously, violent behavior, sexual harassment, and discrimination are not acceptable, and that isn't what I'm talking about in this episode. The aggressive behavior I'm referring to is more verbal, such as shouting, or physical, such as like slamming your fist on the desk or slamming a door shut. We're also talking about rude behavior, such as spreading rumors or saying something insulting. Let's learn how to address these situations in a calm, direct, and effective way and make your workplace healthier and more productive. There are times when work can be very stressful. People have different ways to handle stress. Some people take a walk, count to 10, or go for a run. And others may shout, slam a door. Basically, those people don't have healthy ways to handle their stress. For these people, they might react to a difficult situation by being aggressive. And if you respond aggressively, it's likely that you'll aggravate the situation. So it's best to handle aggressive or rude people directly and calmly. Unfortunately, it's easy for our emotions to get the best of us. If it's a high-stress, difficult situation, we might let our anger influence our behavior. And to reduce the risk of that, the important thing here is to keep the main subject in focus. In other words, stay constructive. Always bring your colleague back to the main subject and remind them of common goals and how collaboration is the only way to achieve those goals. To do so, you can acknowledge what's important. For example, Steve, I understand that you're angry that the vendor didn't send approval, but let's figure out how we can find a solution and stay on schedule. Or, Lisa, I understand that the client is upset. Let's figure out a solution together to fix this as quickly as possible. Sometimes a colleague may react to what you say by trying to humiliate you or suggest that your opinion is not credible. For example, your colleague may say, "You believe that?" Or, "Really?" Or, "Are you sure of your facts?" You may feel insulted. Whatever you do, don't react defensively. Simply take a moment to collect your thoughts and stand your ground. Look at your colleague in the eye and even smile a little if you can manage it and say, "Yes, I'm sure." Or, "Thank you for bringing that to my attention. However," and this way you show that you are firm in your beliefs, your facts, or your decision. Of course, it's a good idea to have hard facts and data to support your position, and to be ready to share these and your source for these facts with your coworker. It'll be hard for them to argue with facts. One example of aggressive or rude behavior in the workplace is interruptions during a meeting. For example, you may be in a meeting with your team or one of your colleagues aggressively interrupts another coworker who is speaking. While in some cultures this might be considered normal to interrupt others, in American culture, and especially if it's done aggressively, this behavior should not be tolerated. You can call out your rude colleague's behavior politely and say, "Please, Jason, Carla was speaking." Or, "Jason, please let Carla finish her thought." Or, "Wait a minute, Jason, I'd like to hear what Carla has to say here." Sometimes that's all that is required to call out the rude behavior directly and ask the aggressor to stop. Sometimes when your coworker is rude or aggressive, it's because they feel like no one is listening to them or no one understands them. And as hard as it may be, try to see the situation from their perspective. When you genuinely listen to your coworker because you want to understand them, it shows. And by demonstrating empathy and an openness to listen, they may naturally calm themselves down. You could also try simple phrases such as, "I hear what you're saying and I'd like to hear more about your point of view." Or, "I wasn't aware of this, so thanks for letting me know." It also helps to repeat what your colleague said so that they know that you are listening. For example, "I understand that you feel left out because you weren't copied in on that email. It must be very frustrating, and I understand." And if it gets really out of hand, just be silly. Roll up some paper like a megaphone, pretend that it's a hostage situation, and show that you are listening to their needs. Something like, "John, we understand your situation. Please think about your coworkers. Put down the stapler and let's go have a coffee break." Sometimes you or your coworker may just need a few minutes to cool off. A change in environment can be particularly helpful. For example, you could say, "Carol, I see that you're frustrated. Do you want to go outside and go for a quick walk with me?" Or, "Maybe we both need a break for a few minutes. Let's take a break and come back after we've had some fresh air." And with these tips and expressions, you'll be able to diffuse many situations where you need to deal with rude or aggressive coworkers. It's not a comfortable situation, but with the right words and attitude, you can handle the situation confidently, even in English. Now, what about you? Has there been a situation at work where you successfully dealt with an aggressive or rude coworker? What did you say to resolve the situation? Please share your ideas in the comments. After all, this is not an easy situation, and your ideas will surely help others who need it. I'm looking forward to reading your comments, and thanks so much for learning with Speak English with Christina. I'll see you next time.